I think we have a guest in the neighborhood. Let me make sure your volume's up. Hello.
Good morning, David. It's Adam.
Good morning, Adam. How are you? This is my cousin, one of my two cousins, Adams. This is Adam Glass, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago talking about the family and stuff. He was at the funeral yesterday. How are you today, man?
I'm well, thank you. How are you guys
Good.
doing?
Have you been watching the show, or you can't bring yourself to tolerate more of me?
Actually, no. I've actually been having. I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been having trouble getting access, which is why everything's not working this morning. It's killing me.
Oh man, that's why I'm glad I didn't tell you to zoom in. I'm glad that you're by phone. So Adam Glass,
Well, I don't
yeah.
mind zooming in by phone. It's just that I couldn't even at the moment, just because I've been trying to call you for almost the last hour.
Oh sure, yeah.
And
This is the first I've seen the phone go. Yeah,
well, I'm telling you, everything has been going wrong this morning, which is unusual, at least technologically in my corner. But welcome to Saturday.
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you for calling. Thanks for coming to see Dad off, as it were. So let's. I've been telling the whole story of the funeral in a comical sort of a way, which is is my bented bent. But I
Well,
will.
yes.
Yeah. First of all, you did yesterday, but to the folks listening at home, please tell me how you are my cousin and related to my dad.
Okay. So the easiest way to do this, because I knew you were going to ask me, so I thought about this for a change. Our grandmothers were sisters, and if you just kind of do the genealogy from there, there it goes. So your dad and my mom were first cousins,
Mm-hmm.
and so that there we are.
Your dad, my mom. Wait, my dad and your mom were first cousins. I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
For
Right.
you are my cousin. Are you my cousin or my second cousin? What does that make you?
We are second cousins because we are of the same generation.
Is
All right.
that what
So
that means?
yeah. So the way in which it works. So my mother is your first cousin once removed.
Oh, I'm lost already.
Your
Okay, yeah.
well, when we say removed, it has to do with a generation up or down. So our grandparents were born obviously of the same generation. Our parents were their children, same generation. You and I are of the same generation.
Yeah.
So
So,
you and I, Adam, Stephanie, Josh, and so on, all second cousins. Now you and the Pinkos are first cousins because obviously your father and Bonnie are brother and sister,
right. Or were.
right? But
Yeah.
as yes, and so it spreads out that way genealogically, and
Well, let
that's
me.
my personal thing. So
So I don't want to get bogged down in that family tree stuff so much because I will never understand it. But I've got a few minutes with you before our guest comes on. But I would love for you to come back. Do you think you will be able to Zoom? Because what I'd love to get you on is to talk a little more and play our trivia quiz at
I'd love
10.
to. You just tell me what time,
I'll send you
and
at
I will.
10:30, and it's the link that you used last time. But I can try and mail it to you or send it to you also. To,
If you email it to me, that'll be better than me trying to find it again. That'll be great.
if I can, okay.
Or text it to me. Either one. It's fine.
Now I have to find your email address, which you can't give over the. It won't work out. We'll try and do it.
No, my email address is very. It's epitome of all evil at hellseekers.com.
Is it really epitome of all evil? That would be you. I think I have. Let me check. I'm not sharing screen, so nobody else can see. So let me see if I can bring up
That's okay.
your email. While I am doing that, can you
Yeah.
share a anecdote about my dad, Philip Lefkowitz?
Sure. I have many.
Good.
There, when we were children, and I was the oldest of the younger cousins, and I was the youngest of the older cousins. I fell into this gray area between the groups, and so I would be with a certain group of people when we had all these family gatherings, and the older cousins, if they were present, would be at the table with with more of the parents and grandparents and so on, and I was with the children. But I was always listening because I could always hear everybody's voices. And I always remembered hearing your father's voice because of the way it resonated wherever we were. And it was always this wonderful, deep, gentle, smiling voice. No matter what he was saying, there was always a smile in it. And there watching and smiling and enjoying having family there.
Yeah.
And
by the way, that was the same pool table you raped me on. Just letting you know that. I remember.
You said yes. So
I was coerced. All right, yeah.
that's the alcohol part. Anyway, so I forgot. Never mind.
Yeah, I kind of blew that one out of the water. So you remember his voice, yeah.
No, but my mind went in several directions that didn't have to do with your father. I said, well, pull it back. I remember I used to watch your dad. He was wonderfly quiet and unassuming and gentle in just like all things that I ever saw him doing. And he became this persona in my head, in my memory, of this person who just exuded this quiet, gentle wisdom. Not imposing, not finger pointing, not you shoulds, not even saying if I were to. It was just there, present, available, welcoming, inviting, but never demanding. And I saw within him that nature and that smile and that giving way. Somebody that I hoped, or if I grew up and became, notice I said if. And
You've never grown up, Adam. I'll tell you that right now, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That I could behave that way. That someone might perceive me that way because it meant that I had done something right. That I had become the type of person that others could go to and feel comfortable asking for help or what have you. And I can say fairly honestly and with a great deal of confidence that I have rarely achieved that state of being. But I've never forgotten it. And it's something that I always saw as an ideal to which to be. And I always thought very highly of your dad for that very natural, wonderful state of being genuine and kind and so intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So, wow, all right. Yeah, I mean, we kind of almost pre-practiced this yesterday. It's like, you were telling me.
I did want you to know what I was thinking about because it's been on my mind, and I didn't want to put something on the air that would be too much whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought it is, first of all, it's your father, and it is very new things that have happened, and no matter what the state of quality of life has been, the funeral was yesterday, and nothing changes that. So before I open my mouth and well-meaning and otherwise to something that turned into being unhelpful, I wanted to ask you first.
No, I appreciate that. But people might think, hey, gee, Dave's like sending an email to this guy, he's wondering, and he's telling, and this fellow's telling this really profound memory. And it's like, he told me in real heartfelt confidence this yesterday. And I'm like, oh, you've got to repeat this on the show. This is good. Because I'm always thinking performatively. In the back of my mind, oh, that's very touching, that's very nice. And it's also like, if you can repeat it just like that, that's very theatrical. This will work on the show, This is the fucked up head that I have. Yeah.
Here's the good news, that anybody who actually knows me is aware of one thing. I can almost never repeat something that I've said the same way twice, because I have no memory of it.
Wait a minute, but you have an idea. Didn't you say you have an idea? Wait a minute. Didn't you tell me that you have one of those eidetic memory things but not for your own speech?
For sound.
Right.
And for things that I hear. And it's interesting. I remember very well things that I hear, but not things that I say. Which is, and it goes, how does that work? Apparently I don't listen to me. So
nobody listens to you now.
Exactly. So there you go. That's my daughter. She'll tell you everything. Yeah, that's the plot.
Oh man. Let me also. We're talking, by the way, with my cousin Adam. My first cousin once removed.
Second cousin.
God damn it. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to remove you yet, especially because our guest hasn't come yet. But I'm going to text him because he tried to log in at 9 and the interview's at 10. So I want to just remind him it's now. Hold
Well, he
on.
may be having time zone issues.
He's living like 3 miles away, I think. Hold on.
He could still be thinking that you're in the central part of the country.
Oh, he might still think I'm in Colorado or something. But yeah.
Yeah, you know, you never know.
But hopefully he'll log back on or log on. But until then, yeah, I'll use you for your. Oh, here we go. So tell you what, I hope you got my email that I just sent about 5. You'll check after you hang up. Either way, come back to us like at 10:30, and I'll tell you if we can do that, or maybe we'll get you back on at like 11:30 if you can't do the quiz. Cool.
I will do everything I can to be there at 10:30, and if I don't get the email, I will text you my email address within a minute.
And then we'll send.
Give me a second shot. Yeah. And I'll be on at 10:30.
Excellent. See you then. This is my cousin Adam Glass. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right. Take good care.
You too, man. Come on and come back. We're talking, by the way, this is the 797th episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and with Richard Goldklang. We'll be playing the Today Yesterday quiz with him and my
hello.
Adam, hello?
Hello.
Adam, first of all, can you see this magnificent work of art we have posted here?
I see it. I just wasn't sure if it was you after a bender.
That was our guest having post-dental surgery. This is wow. You want? I love that picture more. I'm no offense, Richie. It's just I find it so fun. We're talking, by the way, Adam, with Richard Goldklang, a longtime friend and acquaintance. Was in a rock band called the Third Bardo back in the 1960s. He's been an IT guy for many years, and you have now been an IT guy for many years as well.
Yeah, indeed.
And Adam was at my dad's funeral yesterday, and Adam's a cool friend of the family. He's been on the show. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can see you guys, and because people are trying to have lunch. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. There we go. So welcome, Adam. Why are you in a car?
Because it's the one place where I could find quiet.
Fair enough. So,
do I need my mask on? Do I have to look like a train robber to be on this, or am I good?
Actually, you're much more handsome with a mask on, so I would keep it. No, I'm kidding. It bothers me because you're 50 years old and your hair looks incredible. I don't know how I was bald by the time I was 50, and yet look at you. You're like Hair Club for Men after. It's amazing.
Shh, not supposed to tell.
So we're getting. Let me talk a little bit more. Don't go away, Adam. But I want to talk a little bit more to our guest in the neighborhood, Richard Goldklang, who is kind of finishing up the how he got from being a rock guitarist to essentially doing IT, and then you were doing the real estate. What was it? The property management for a bunch of years. And what have you been doing like the past 10 years? I guess you're retired-ish, or what's been going on? Richie, can you hear?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were talking to me. I was just sitting here enjoying the show. Okay. The property management. I designed a lot of systems, but the property management turned out that it was a quote-unquote hit record when Chase Manhattan Bank backed us and gave them all their clients, including Fred Trump.
Do you have any Trump stories?
I don't want to waste your time. Just simply, as usual, he didn't pay. And they said, "How come we didn't get rent bills this month?" I said, "You didn't pay us for 2 months." That'd be awful. We had a lot of business, but the overhead was tremendous. In those days, you couldn't have a little laptop to do it from. You can now. You had to have a multi-million-dollar computer with a raised floor, and evolution brought us to smaller and smaller computers. It was very expensive. A cash flow became a thing. 100 employees, I had to give up getting paid some weeks just to make it through. That's how business is when you do.
But you're okay. You're comfortable now, or are you still working? Do you still put?
Nah, I'm kind of retired.
Cool. And you're living reasonably well. At least you have the money to pay a dentist. probably thousands of dollars to
Yeah, I was doing reasonably well. Now I have teeth, but I'm not doing reasonably well yet. I have a choice. I
Oh,
could have gotten a nice SUV instead of my teeth. I didn't want an SUV anyway. Like,
so are you remarried? Do you have kids? What's your basic life situation, Richie?
okay, I have two grown daughters and four grandchildren.
Wow.
Each daughter has a boy and a girl, so that kind of fits. And then my first wife, married 11 years, divorced 11 years, remarried. Unfortunately, for a few years now, my wife is in an assisted living facility.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
talking about, stuff in life. And by the way, let's do this quickly. By unfortunate coincidence, just about 10 days ago, my nephew, that'd be my sister's son. It's bad when you lose your son, then you lose your. And so I lost overnight. No one knows why yet. I lost a nephew. I feel terrible for my sister. It's supposed
It
to be
wasn't a
the other
COVID
way.
thing. It was just a sudden weird nothing.
Very sudden,
Yeah.
not a long illness, which I went through with both parents, like most of us students, never sudden. As a matter of fact, the hydrocephalus with my mother, very similar, years and years.
Oh,
So,
I did. So, did she
you-
have? What did it do to her? Because I know what it did to my dad, along with all
she
the other
she
things.
was like 80 years old. The neurologist discovered it. It would have been. It was really too late to really do much. There was definite dementia, and kind of decided, even with the doctor feeling, even though that's what it is, they don't know if it's just that, and really if anything could have been done about it. She was already in pretty bad shape. It wasn't like if you put a shunt and bang, everything get okay. It wouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Can I
Sorry
ask
about
you
that.
one more question about you? Oh, here he is. Okay, well, we have our other guest coming in. I've got one more question though for Richie Goldklang before, or as we bring in our third guest to play the Today Yesterday quiz. Hello, David Sheward, by the way. Oh, and remember, you have to unmute yourself because I reset the thing as everybody comes in mute. So please unmute. And hello, David Sheward.
I didn't know I was muted.
Yeah, it's a new thing. This way people come in quietly and they don't
Oh.
distract from my genius when I hear them logging on.
So we don't come and say, "Hi, how are you?"
You can distract from your genius.
Joyce is saying nobody can distract from my genius. She's being nice to me because I'm a half orphan now.
Oh.
God. Anyway, David Sheward, and let me introduce folks before David Sheward is the former president of the Drama Desk. He is also a blogger. He is also the author of a biography of George C. Scott, and he writes for culturalweekly.com, theaterlife.com, and his blog is The David Desk. My cousin Adam Glass is an IT person, and I know you've been sitting there quietly. And then Richard Goldklang, former band member, longtime IT person. I want to ask you, do you look back like from the early and mid 1960s when you were a musician and in these bands, and you said that you didn't blow your mind out with drugs or anything, that you weren't into that, but who you are now, do you look back as yourself then as a completely other person? Or are you still you and sometimes you feel like you could sit down with like the guys and just jam?
I was very fortunate that I lived in near Huntington Bay, near the harbor. And there was a place called Chesterfield's, a well-known blues bar in Huntington Village. And every Sunday night, I played in a blues band, which also had guests there. I did that for like 8 years, and I look forward to every Sunday. And it made me much better. I played keyboard mainly, and I was playing with excellent musicians, and I loved it. So
and did that stopped with COVID, or it stopped a while before?
No, this is a while back. This was, let's say, 1990s to the early part of the 2000s.
Well,
everything stopped with COVID now?
Well, do you play music? Do you rehearse? Do you go into the basement and just pick up the keyboard or the guitar, or what did you say? Flute?
I picked up the guitar. Frankly, what happened during COVID, you say, boy, I have the chance since I can't go out and I'm quarantining myself. But I ended up doing nothing, absolutely nothing instead. I think what I just trying to do is hunker down and not go nuts. And it felt like the less I did, the more comfortable I got. I mean, that's not good. I could have done something that I just wanted to get through it. And
So
I'm just, it's only a week now I've been out, finally got my shots, and then felt it's okay to go out. And it's very rough. You read about people getting out of prison, they can't handle the life outside, and it really felt kind of strange
well,
at
did
first.
you go to a restaurant? Did you go shopping? I mean, when you were out, what did you do? And what will you do this week?
This week I simply visited one or two people and did a little shopping, which wasn't comfortable because I finally got it down to every supply I could think of, even liquor, all these different services that deliver. Everything was being delivered. I didn't have to move. You know, it was
So you're
great.
still in that coming out period of like being
Emotionally, yeah.
emotionally incarcerated. Wow. Well, hopefully this show will this show brings everybody out of their shells. This show is like if people are feeling mentally and emotionally imprisoned, this is the show that sets them free and makes them mass murderers. So I'm very
I used to be comfortable on radio or TV doing a few different things, but this time I feel like I'm back to when I was an introvert at 20 years old.
You're fine. You it's been great, and now you get to be part of this group.
I'm so over my head coming up.
Oh no! We'll see. We'll see. First of all, I will tell Adam, and I will tell you, Richie, that you're not going to beat David. David is the king of today.
Exactly.
Not me, David. This is David. Yeah. David is the king of today, yesterday quiz, but we don't expect you to. If you get one question, if you get a point or two or three, that's amazing.
It's just for fun.
There's no prizes. There ain't no nothing. It's just all in hopefully good fun. Oh, and I want to make not apologies, but I want to let everybody know. Usually, Mr. Hogan Blake is our second contestant. Leslie cannot make it today. Not sure if she'll make it next week either, but we wish her our best.
That's okay. I just switched from coffee, so I'm doing fine now.
You got your coffee. I got my rules. But Adam, and also I'll hang with you a little while after the quiz to talk more about my dad a little bit. But let me give you the today, yesterday quiz rules. So here's the deal.
There are rules?
Barely. I remake them every week. It's to my own taste.
So this week's rules, yes, go ahead.
And it's a simple game because it's trivia questions. We're going to ask 9 trivia questions, and there's a tiebreaker if we need it. And we do the tiebreaker even if we don't need it. But there's 9 questions. Each of you gets 2 questions. Three. I've already forgotten. 3 questions, 3 people, 9. And we go in rounds. If you get the question correct, it's 2 points. If you get the question incorrect, there's no penalty, but one of the other people gets to steal. Okay, and they can get the 2 points instead. The other thing that you ought to know is that we've gone back to our regular, last week we did a little differently, but this time we're back to the main theme of the quiz, which is that today is May 8th. Every one of these history questions has to do with something that happened on May 8th in world history. Could have been 500 years ago, 100 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right. Last week it was just about the month of May, anything that happened, or the word May.
I thought that worked out pretty well, actually.
Yeah, I just thought there was one thing that was about the month of May, about May that was pretty interesting, was that in Chicago, when Anne Reinking has the line about she's shooting the boy as Roxy Hart, and she's shooting her boyfriend for cheating on her. And if you listen to the original cast recording, it sounds like nobody walks out on May.
Yes, I remember that. I'm like, who's May?
Who's May? Nobody named May in this show. And she was like, her diction was not so great, and she was saying May instead of me.
And Leslie actually pointed out that I kind of goofed up on one of the questions because one of the answers was Swedish actress Maj Britt. And she said, well, it's spelled May, but it's actually pronounced right. She was right. I give that one to her. But here's the deal.
Is she protesting?
Maybe that's why she's not on the show this week. She's protesting.
She's
right. So here's the deal. I'm going to ask Richie, if you don't mind being the special invited guest, could you kindly pick a number from 1 to 6 and tell me what it is.
5.
Okay. R is 5. And then, Adam, since you're my other special guest, can you pick another number between 1 and 6 that is not 5?
3 is nice.
3 is nice.
3 is nice.
And then, David Sheward, since you are our regular, your number?
2.
2. David. I'm since this, in honor of my father, I'm not going to make a joke about making number 2.
Oh,
Although he would enjoy it if I did. Yeah.
Mr. Peabody.
So here we have Richard with 5, Adam with 3, David with 2. We're going to roll a die digitally. And wouldn't you know, guess what? It came up number 2.
Oh.
So David, you get to flush this. Do you want to go first, second, or third?
This is weird. Okay. I'll go third.
David will go third. Ooh. I'm going to roll the die again. And it comes up number 1, which is closer to Adam. So Adam, you get to choose. Do you want to go second or first or second?
I'll go second, actually.
Adam will go second. So Richie, you are the guinea pig. You get to go first. It just means that this is the order of the questions that they go in, because the questions are pre-written and they tend to go chronologically. So you'll get the earliest year and so forth. Are you all ready, guys?
Yes.
Rock and roll.
We will begin the game. This question is for you, Richard Goldklang, for 2 points. The year, and you remember it well, 1541. On this date, remember it's all May 8th, Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto became the first European to reach this body of water, which spans from northern Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico. What's that water?
Mississippi.
Can you clarify? Can you expand on that answer?
Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico. It's spanned on the Mississippi River. And
Is that your final answer?
yes, it is.
Richie got the Mississippi. Richard gets himself 2 points. Richie, yes, that is the correct answer. Look at this on the board immediately. Because you said Mississippi, and I kind of wanted Mississippi River in there. But you have to play the hand for Delta.
Oh, that's bad.
Thank you.
Clearly, I should have taken the first question.
I didn't
Okay, go ahead.
What, Dave?
Say it again.
No, I said you have to play the hand your Delta because it was a Mississippi question.
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
Thank you. Thank you very
My
much.
operation.
All right, we get to our question number 2, which will go directly to Adam. So, Adam, if you get this question right, you get 2 points. If you get it wrong, someone else gets a chance, excuse me, to steal. Are you ready, Adam?
Well, I just means that the other 2 should pay more attention because the odds of me getting one of these right is very small. Go ahead.
Well, here we go. 1823 was the
Nice year.
Yeah, good year. Clary, the Maid of Milan, a now forgotten operetta by John Howard Payne and Henry Bishop, opens in London. Making it a hit is one song that made Payne's name, and a song that briefly turns up in The Wizard of Oz and The King and I. Name that tune, whose second stanza features the lyric, "The birds singing gaily that came at my call, and gave me the peace of mind dearer than all."
It's beautiful, honey.
A lot of clues, a lot of
Did you make
clues.
that up?
Oh, yeah, I wrote the song, I admit it.
Oh, nice.
That's why you have no hair.
Well, hey, he'll get the question. So,
Say it again.
I'll read the question
No.
again, Adam. So it was 1823, composed on this date, May, the operetta that this song was in, opened on this date. Clary, the Maid of Milan. I know you know it well. Forgotten operetta by John Howard Payne and Henry Bishop, open in London tonight. Making it a hit is one song that made John Howard Payne's name. It briefly turns up in both The Wizard of Oz and The King and I. Name that tune, whose second stanza features the lyric, "The birds singing gaily that came at my call, and gave me the peace of mind dearer than all."
And I don't know because I'm I can hear it. I don't know the name of it.
Okay. Do you want to take a guess? Even if you get,
No, because my sarcasm goes to if we represent the Lollipop Guild, it's really not going to be it. So I'm going to stop there.
Well, I guess then, even though Adam, you are my munchkin, that is.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Aren't you glad you tuned for this, Richard? So
wizard.
I'm going to roll the die again, and the die comes up the number 6, which is closest to Richard.
closest to 5.
So, Richard, do you want to try and steal this question for 2 more points?
If I only had a brain.
Is that your? Are you asking me, or is that your actual answer?
Well, I did have a brain, but I feel it kind of, I'm 76, so I think that'll be my final answer. I have no idea.
Well, I'm afraid those 76 trombones are playing taps for you. That is not the correct answer. So, Sheward, you have the opportunity still to steal this question.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the title is the song goes, "Be it ever so humble, there's no place like
home."
So I think the title is "Home Sweet Home."
But is that your final answer?
Yes, "Home Sweet Home."
And this is why David Sheward is the man to beat, because he is absolutely correct that a snatch of that song turns up in both Wizard of Oz and The King and I, and of course it's "Home Sweet Home." That you're right.
I remember it in The King and I, but I don't remember it in The Wizard of Oz.
I guess when she wants to go back home, or she's clicking her
I
heels,
guess they play it in the background at some point, but
or the flying monkeys have a
background
click with their
music.
butts, something like that.
But I do remember in The King and I,
yeah.
Hannah wants the king to build her a house, and he says, "No, you shall live in palace." And she teaches the royal children to sing "Home Sweet Home" over and over and over again. And the king says, "What is this song, Home Sweet House? Stop singing."
Yul Brynner turned very scarily into Arnold Schwarzenegger there. That is something you should know. Anywho, it is possible. No, I can't do it now. So, anyway, by the way, so we've got Richie on the board with 2, David Sheward on the board with 2, coming to our third question, which now goes directly to David Sheward. So David Sheward can build on his lead. If you answer this question correctly, David, 1877 is the year.
Yeah.
Held today at Gilmore Gardens, Gilmore Garden, a precursor to Madison Square Garden.
Oh, okay.
The first Westminster Kennel Club dog show.
Oh.
Which of these is not true about our canine friends? Is it multiple choice? David love it. This is all guesswork.
Go ahead.
A. Dogs with erect ears hear better than dogs with droopy ears. B. All dogs have 4 eyelids in each eye. C. All puppies are born blind and deaf. Or D. No 2 dogs have the same nose print.
All right.
Which of these is not true? Yeah.
I think that, that's interesting. I know that I think dogs and cats are born blind, which I learned from that song in Cats, Are you blind when you're born? Do you hate the show? And
yeah, everybody does hate cats, but okay.
Stop singing this song. Okay.
Joe Allen's restaurant closed.
Joe Allen? Wow, Joe Allen? Joe Allen closed? Joe Allen's restaurant closed?
Really?
Joe Allen gone. Joe Allen's closed. 326 West 46th Street. A theater district restaurant known as the Broadway Meeting Place for actors, blah blah blah, is closed.
Oh, forever?
I think it says.
Because didn't he die like a month ago or something like that? Or somebody in like a big theater restaurant guy did, and maybe
that's terrible.
Well, yeah.
I pass by it often, actually.
Anybody ever eat? I think I ate there once a million years
often.
ago. Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. Okay. I would eat and have drinks there. That's terrible.
It says well, they don't say that. They say we hate to say it, but we're going to take a little hiatus.
Oh.
And then it said with COVID on the ride, and this was in
winter.
How
long ago was that?
This was from winter. It said with COVID on the ride, New York City winter, we've decided to hibernate, but that's old. And
That was old, and now it's official that they're.
That's what someone put on Facebook.
Wow.
So it's got
Oh, well.
it's Facebook, right?
Well, let's. Okay. Well, anyway,
With Chipotle now.
that gave me time to think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
David, you don't need time to think. You know.
Yeah,
the
of all the
answer.
people that give extra
It's a
time.
guess. It's a guess. This is a guess.
Well, I'll read the choices again.
Okay. It's what's not true.
Yeah, what's not about dogs? Because this
Okay,
was
about
the
dogs.
Western
Dog.
dogs. A,
Dog.
or I like to say dogs. Dogs with erect ears hear better than dogs with droopy ears.
Aw.
No jokes. All dogs have 4 eyelids in each eye. C, all puppies are born blind and deaf.
Aw.
Excuse me. Or D, no 2 dogs have the same nose print.
I think it's true that no 2 dogs have the same nose print. It might be that you're pulling a fast one on us when you say that all puppies are born blind and deaf, because maybe they're born blind but not deaf.
Yeah.
So that may be the trick. So I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to say the one about puppies being born blind and deaf
Is not true.
is not true. It's something like they're blind but not deaf.
What? What? Can't hear you. Oh, now I hear you, and your answer is wrong. I'm sorry, David Sheward. That is not the correct answer.
I outsmart you. Okay.
I outsmarted Dave. So let's do a die roll, which came up number 3, which means Adam Glass, my cousin, you get to steal this question. Do you need to hear the remaining clues again?
I do not. I was going to go for the 4 eyelids as being false.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Is that your final?
Yeah, that is my final answer. The 4 eyelids deal. Yeah.
Well, Buggy put a lid on it. You get those 2 points. We have a 3-way tie game.
Thank you very much.
All dogs have 3 eyelids, not 4.
Oh,
In
I
each
know
eye.
it's something like that. You're going to sneak that in there.
But this makes me happy because now we literally, each of you has 2 points going into round 3. What a game! Ooh! Dave's got mine with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, and we are being joined by Adam Glass, my cousin, and Adam, the IT. Just tell people a little bit. I say you're in IT. What the hell do you actually do?
Shh, we don't tell. So, I work in IT security, access control, and things. Basically, I work in systems to make buildings safer. So everything that has to do with access control, fire alarm systems, burglar alarm systems, video systems, the things that let you get into doors and out of them, all that kind of stuff.
Cool. That's a great.
We program all those systems and so on.
We could have used you on January 6th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
Yeah, that you put in the pitch for the contract, and so we're also talking with David Sheward, who is a writer and blogger. His blog is The David Desk, and he writes theater reviews and cultural stuff for TheaterLife.com and CulturalWeekly.com. And we are talking also with Richard Goldklang, still a musician, but retired IT person himself. And we're playing the Today, Yesterday Theater Quiz. All these events that we're writing about, or that we're quizzing about, happen on May 8th. In history. So I'm sorry?
It's not a theater quiz because all the questions aren't theater related.
No, did I say theater? I'm sorry.
You did. You said theater quiz.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. It's a history quiz of things that happened on May 8th. No. It could be anything. As a matter of fact, here we go. Richard, you get this next question directly, and it is another multiple choice. The year was 1886. Sold today at Jacob's Pharmacy in downtown Atlanta, the first glass of Coca-Cola, which had both cocaine and caffeine. Which of these is true about Coke? Of these multiple choice. A, the company chose a red logo only because it helped them save money on taxes. B, in 2006, 3 Coke employees tried to open the vault with a secret formula, but they were arrested before they even made it to the room.
And Mr. Krabs got them.
C, New Coke was brought back briefly in 2008 owing to the popularity of Mad Men. Or D, St. John's the Baptist Church in Mexico once banned Coca-Cola for 5 years because young people would drink it before services just so they could come in and burp to distract everybody. One of these is true.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can hear the burping in the background.
That her, or is it a sound effect? Did you
Man.
drink a lot of Coke just before the broadcast?
No, I tried recording my dad's death rattle. I missed it, but I got some.
Oh my God.
David.
I don't know.
Gallows humor.
Yes, absolutely. I'll read the choices again, Richie. This is your
Did you
question.
say Madam Zucker?
What? No,
I said gallows humor.
gallows humor.
Oh, I thought.
So here's the deal. Which of these is true about Coca-Cola? Which, by the way, the first glass today was given out at a drugstore in 1886. Is it A, the company chose a red logo only because it helped save them money on taxes? B, in 2006, 3 Coke employees tried to open the vault with the secret formula, but they were arrested before they even made it into the room. C, New Coke was brought back briefly in 2008 owing to the popularity of Mad Men. Or D, St. John's the Baptist Church in Mexico once banned Coca-Cola for 5 years because young people would drink it before services just so they could come in and burp to distract everyone.
C.
What did you say? I didn't hear.
C. New
C.
Coke.
And is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid you don't see, because that is not the correct answer. That is not a fact. That is not a true thing. I'll tell you, the explanations of all these after someone gets the question. I'm going to roll the die. The die comes up number 2, which means that the question goes directly to David Sheward.
Okay, so I got to guess which of these is true,
Right.
as opposed to the other one, which one was false.
Well, one of these is true.
True. Okay, so it's not the thing about 2008 and New Coke and Mad Men. So it's either the burping or the SpongeBob SquarePants plot about getting the secret formula.
Right.
And what was the other one?
The company chose a red logo, because it helped them save money on taxes.
Huh, that sounds weird enough to be true.
Hmm.
And you probably got the other one about the secret formula after you watched SpongeBob. And the other one is what's the other one again?
Burping.
Burping.
Yeah,
Burping.
St. John's
yes.
Baptist Church, yeah.
I'm kind of torn between the burping and the taxes. The
Aren't
tax.
you all?
I am too. I am too.
That's what I say every April 14th. I'm torn between the burping and the taxes. It could be is it the burping or the taxes? They're both weird. I mean, the taxes one is so boring and uninteresting. That could be true. Burping or taxes, or it could be the other one. All right, I'll say the taxes.
Is that
I'll say that it's the taxes one is true.
final answer?
Final answer.
Well, call the IR. Yes, David Sheward gets it right. That is the answer.
My God.
That was actually true, because what was happening back in the day is that alcoholic beverages were taxed at a higher rate than non-alcoholic beverages. So they wanted to distinguish when the tax people came around, the excise men, I guess. They say, see these boxes, this stuff is non-alcoholic, and they make red to distinguish it from all these alcoholic products.
It's just loaded with cocaine.
There's no alcohol, just the coke and caffeine, no drugs. But here's the deal. This is kind of amazing. Each of these has a little kernel of something in it. So in 2006, 3 employees were actually arrested at Coke for trying to sell documents and secrets to a Pepsi employee.
Oh.
So they weren't trying to break into the vault, but they had all these documents and things that they had access to. And what happened was guess who the Pepsi employee was?
Plankton?
Close enough. A member of the FBI. Pepsi just informed the FBI, and they turned it into a sting.
They set up a sting. Yeah.
And here's the amazing thing. Nothing amazing. New Coke did come back, but it was just 2 years ago because of the TV show Stranger Things. Apparently, that was a Okay. And this is magnificent. And this is why this is my favorite question of the week. No, it was not true that St. John's the Baptist Church in Mexico banned Coca-Cola because kids were coming in to drink it and then annoy everyone with their burping. On the contrary, St. John's Church in Mexico used Coca-Cola in services because, and this is a quote, burping purges evil from the soul.
Oh.
They wanted people to come into church and burp. All I know is if I ever have a synagogue, I'm serving beans. But anywho,
With onions.
So you would serve Coke and beans, basically.
I pretty much would. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Into a bowl-
he'd have a cookout with hot dogs, Coke, and beans. That would be the end
and that
of it.
way it would come out both ends.
Oh,
And it would be,
thank you very
and that would be an outdoor congregation, I hope. So
The
well, it's kind of a half-baked answer, but you know,
the evil would find 2 exit points.
or 4 if you anywho, we
Yeah.
have, let's see, go figure. Guess who's leading the game? David Sheward with 4 points, but very, very close behind. And I know, Adam, you have a very close behind with 2
Thank you very
points, and Richie Goldklang with 2 points as well. Our next question, though, in our second round goes directly to Cousin Adam, so you can catch up right here. And if you've ever put ketchup on beans, you know they taste very good. Here's the deal. Your question, Adam, 1899 was the year. James Rutherford publishes a scientific paper today telling the world that there are 2 kinds of what?
Heck. 2 kinds of. So many choices. Most of them wrong.
Actually, all of them wrong except one. If you think
Yeah. Well, yeah. Rutherford Hayes. 2 kinds, except the 2 kinds.
not Rutherford B. Hayes, James
No,
Rutherford.
no, I just wrote James Rutherford. Excuse me. 2 kinds. 1899. I haven't a clue. And I'm gonna feel deeply embarrassed that I can't think of what this is.
Pick something outrageous. Just pick an outrageous answer.
Well, if I were to use the current thing going on today, I'd say 2 sexes, but I doubt they bothered putting that one in a paper.
I'm gonna need an answer.
I got nothing. I'm sorry. I can't even think of something that could be close to even being logical.
All right, well, logically that means you don't get the answer correct, and
That's
I
right.
have to roll the die to give another chance.
I need to know what this is.
This comes out number 5. So Richie Goldklang. I'll read the question again. 1899 was the year. On this date, May 8th, James Rutherford published a scientific paper telling the world that there are 2 kinds of what?
Radiation?
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That'd be interesting.
Well, get yourself a slice of famous Ray's pizza because, yes, he figured out that there were
Wow.
alpha and beta alpha and beta rays. A few years later, he found gamma rays too. And then in 1947, he found Martha Ray, which is really, really exciting.
Wow.
She couldn't get a guest spot on the Carol Burnett show after that.
Exactly, because it was glowing from. So let me ask you: did you just know that off the top of the name Rutherford, or how did you remember that?
The year and the name is scientist, and I just kind of
Well,
took a guess.
well done.
Very good.
You are now in a tie with David Sheward for first place, with Adam only 2 points behind. But now let's see our 6th question. David gets to build to try and get the lead again. Ready, David Sheward?
I'm ready.
Here we go. The year 1937. Born today in Glen Cove, Long Island, and later educated at Cornell, is this novelist whose last 3 books were 2006's Against the Day, 2009's Inherent Vice, and 2013's Bleeding Edge. Name.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I can read again if you got frozen. Born today in Glen Cove, Long Island, later educated at Cornell, is this novelist whose last 3 books were 2006's Against the Day, 2009's Inherent Vice, and 2013's Bleeding Edge.
I believe it's Thomas Pynchon.
Is that your final answer, though?
Yes.
Well, pinch on yourself. You're not dreaming. That is absolutely the correct answer. Have you read any of those books?
No, and I tried to read Gravity's Rainbow, and that was impossible.
Yeah, I couldn't get through that. I did read V, and I was like, okay. Well, that was his first big book. I haven't read any of his later. Have any of you guys read Pynchon?
Oh.
You other guy? No.
He's very difficult. Oh, I don't know. Inherent Vice was made into a movie, and I think I tried to read it, but it was just too difficult.
I prefer Miami Inherent Vice. That was all right. Yeah. Thank you. Joyce is saying, that was just a crocker. But here we go. Let's get to the. I'm
terrible
sorry about that. We come to the end of round 2 of our Today Yesterday quiz, and at the moment we have the lead with David Sheward with 6 points, Richie Goldklang with 4 points, and my cousin Adam on the board. And remember, in this game, if you're even on the board, you should be proud of yourself and Bell with 2 points. But we have
Mother would be very proud.
It's still everybody's game.
So difficult.
Here we go.
I got the important question. I knew about the dogs. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. Now, this next question, though, goes back to Richie. So, Richie, you can try and catch up to David, if you get this question right. Are you ready?
Mm.
The enthusiasm, the sheer insouciance of that response. Oh, man. The rabbi was more animated than that yesterday. All right, here we go. The year 1939.
Not by much.
To help stop British oppression. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get through this question. I love this one.
Let's hear it.
The year 1939. This is Richard's question, though. To help stop British oppression in India, Mahatma Gandhi begins a 21-day fast today, basically living on water with a little salt and lemon for 3 weeks. Generally, he had a really healthy lifestyle, eating a lot of fruit and going for long walks, but Gandhi did have some medical problems during his life. Which of these was not an ailment suffered by Gandhiji at some point? A, gastroenteritis, B, hemorrhoids, C, duodenal ulcer, D, dysentery.
Hemorrhoids.
Is that your final answer?
Absolutely.
Well, Gandhi was surrounded by assholes, but his actually had those. So yes, poor Mahatma. This is why he was lying down all the time, because he couldn't. Yeah, he was bedeviled by the roids. So we're having piles of fun here on Dave's Gone By, which means I get to roll.
Now you're giving piles?
Okay.
Adam, this is just, they just pile up, the jokes.
Oh.
Thank you very much. I saw that. All right, go ahead.
Here we go. Adam, I rolled a
Yes.
3. That means I rolled a 3, which is your number, which means you
It is.
have to steal this question. Gandhi, over the course of his life, healthy eater, healthy lifestyle. However, and even fasting a bunch, but he did have medical ailments. All of these except one. So which did he not have? A, gastroenteritis, C, duodenal ulcer, or D, dysentery?
Well, let's see. India. Dysentery? Yeah, kind of goes with territory.
The dysentery. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, he did all those walks. I just, but I would say either or D, either a duodenal ulcer or dysentery. I'm just not sure which. Let's say dysentery. Probably wrong, but I'll go for dysentery. What the hell?
You'll go for I'll go. We'll all go for dysentery.
That's it. And we won't stop.
Well, Adam, I'm afraid that was a disinterrable answer because that is not the correct answer to the question. So, David Sheward, you now get to steal this question.
All right.
Which of these did not bedevil Mahatma Gandhi during his life? Was it gastroenteritis or duodenal ulcer?
It could be either one of them. So gastroenteritis.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Gastroenteritis or duodenal ulcers.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I figure I got a 50-50 shot here. And so did Gandhi.
They both sucked, but he's dead. It's okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Ulcers or gastroenteritis. I mean, it could be either. It could be either one. I'm going to say ulcers.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Ulcer, that's my baby, ulcer. Yes, indeed. Well done, David Sheward. That is the correct answer. It occurs to me now, maybe Gandhi wasn't fasting to save India. He just, he just wanted to stop himself from shitting because he had dysentery.
Gastroenteritis.
And hemorrhoids. That's why he was so miserable. It's like, oh, please. He asked the guy to shoot him just to put him out of his misery. He's like, don't shoot me in the head, shoot me in the ass. Take me out that way. Oh, poor guy.
Curry.
They didn't. The Richard Attenborough movie didn't touch on that too much.
Not at all. Like if they done it right, the costumer would have just had to piles of brown sheets all over the place. It's like, oh, anywho, David Sheward, you have 8 points. My goodness, you're running away with the game almost, but I think there's still a possibility that Richard at least can take this. We'll see. The next question though goes to my cousin Adam. Adam, are you ready for our 8th question?
I can't do any worse, so rock on.
You could have done worse. You already have 2 points. But here's the question. It's a multiple choice.
Yes.
This is going to be so much fun. The year 1940.
Be any more fun than the last question?
Yeah, we're going to some deep, dark places. 1947 was the year.
Yes.
Arrested by Polish communist authorities today is Witold Pilecki. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see the look of recognition.
A cousin, I see. Yes, go ahead.
He is put on a show trial, tortured, executed. He's now considered a hero for fighting both Nazis and communists. In fact, he volunteered to sneak into Auschwitz as a prisoner to smuggle out information for the resistance. Now, speaking of Auschwitz, which of these is not true about this concentration camp? A, 1/6 of all the Jews who died in the Holocaust died in Auschwitz. B, the IG Farben executive who oversaw the use of Auschwitz prisoners as workers and medical test subjects spent only 7 years in prison. C, the youngest woman ever to be executed in British law was an SS guard. Or D, Elie Wiesel's mother and father were both murdered within days after arriving with him in Auschwitz.
Which is not true?
Which of these is not true? And this question is for Adam, though.
Okay.
1/6. Elie Wiesel's parents.
And please, no giggling.
SS.
Yeah.
SS.
I'll read. You know what? I'll read the main question again. We talked about Auschwitz. Which of these is not true about Auschwitz? A.
Right.
1
out of 6.
All the Jews who died in the Holocaust died in Auschwitz. B, the IG Farben executive who oversaw prisoners being workers and medical test subjects spent only 7 years in prison. The youngest woman ever to be executed in British law was an SS guard. Or D, Elie Wiesel's mother and father were both murdered within days after arriving with him in Auschwitz.
I'm actually going to say C about the British guard, the SS guard, because, well, just because.
No.
Yeah, my final answer. I may be wrong on that.
Well, Adam, you should be on your guard because that is not
negative. Yeah.
Answer, afraid not. So we can roll the die.
Interesting.
And the guy, notice how the atmosphere is just kind of like, Auschwitz question. We come up with a number one, which is closest to David Sheward. So, David, you can kind of put the game away here if you get this correct.
Give me the choices again.
I will. The remaining choices are: one of these is not
6.
true about Auschwitz.
Elie Wiesel.
1/6 of all the Jews who died in the Holocaust died in Auschwitz. B, the IG Farben executive who oversaw the use of prisoners as workers and medical test subjects spent only 7 years in prison. Or D, Elie Wiesel's mother and father were both murdered within days after arriving with him in Auschwitz.
It's D. I'm going to say D. About Elie Wiesel's parents.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, I have to say, Dave, you did Elie Wiesel. That was...
Oy vey.
Hey, I could have come up with a much worse joke. But yeah, no, man, you're getting these questions right as a gas. What made you choose the correct answer? D.
What did you just say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I knew that was the correct answer because as a high school English teacher, Night by Elie Wiesel is a very popular text for the class that I'm teaching.
Right.
And so I have read it dozens of times and taught it. And I know that Elie Wiesel's mother was murdered right away along with his sisters, but his father stayed alive much longer.
Yeah, and the book is about his being beaten to death later on.
And it's because they're staying alive for each other. He would give up if his father hadn't been there, but he said, my father would if I died, my father would die, so I'm going to stay alive for him.
Yeah, and I don't know how they adapted that into a musical comedy, but they did. No, just kidding. It was just a little FYI stuff. And actually, they Wiesel and his dad, they died at Buchenwald. Well, you knew that. They weren't even in Auschwitz when they.
They're transported to another camp.
Yeah.
Well, not transported. They had to run all night. There was no more transport, so the prisoners had to walk the 30 miles to the camp.
I'm sorry, they should have called an Uber. That's just lazy.
And Wiesel his foot was infected, and it was all filled up with pus.
Oh yeah.
So he had to run on a infected
pussy foot. Yeah. I can make a pussy joke, but I'm not going to. But I do want to let you know, by the way, a little more information. After prison, the IG Farben guy, not only did he do only 7 years in prison, but he was elected chairman of the board of Bayer, which was still part of Farben at that point. And Irma.
That one I figured was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one I definitely that rung true. It just made sense that it would. Yeah.
And the hyena of Auschwitz, or the beast of it, that was Irma Gress or Gries. She was 22 years old when she was executed for being the worst, the most horrible SS person, SS woman. Although they say that what happened was that more women got executed or whatever because people remembered the women more. They were more prominent in their sadism because the woman is doing it. So it was a mix of all that. But anywho, yeah, we're having some laughs here on Dave's Gone By. But David Sheward is certainly laughing. He's got 10 points. Oh my God! But let's do our next question, which goes directly
to David.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see if you can build on your lead. The year 1970. Enraged over. I'll bet you Richie could have gotten this. Enraged over Kent State. About 800 anti-war demonstrators decided to march on Wall Street, where they were met by 400 anti-communist construction workers. The result was what 3-word event?
What 3-word event?
Yep.
Well, I know that there was a fight and that the construction workers beat up some of the anti-war protesters and they were invited to the Nixon White House. And Nixon said, "Oh, this is great. You're wonderful people. You're great. You great construction workers." What was that called? Beat up the hippies day. 3 words.
Which I still celebrate. Yeah.
3 words.
Commies go home. What?
Yeah, okay, maybe that was it. But that's not an event. Let me think. A 3-word event. I don't know. Beat up hippies.
Is that your final
Yeah.
answer?
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid the question has beaten you this time, David.
Yeah.
Let's roll the die. And let's see what we got here. We get the number 4, which goes... Oh, no, you know what? I got to roll again because it's right in between the two others, so it's kind of a moot. I rolled again, so now it's a 6, which is closest to Richard. Richard, no fair Googling, no fair looking.
We're not Googling because
I'm just
I could do that, but I wouldn't consider that. That would be terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It would. So, 1970 was the year. Enraged over Kent State, 800 anti-war demonstrators marched on Wall Street where they were met by 400 anti-communist construction workers. The result was what 3-word event?
I can't even guess.
Hmm.
Let me see. 3 words. No, sorry, I can't put it together.
All right, I'm going to have to take the question away from you.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, Adam Glass, do you want to see if we can put 2 more points on the board by taking a guess?
Dog Day Afternoon.
Is that your final answer?
It is. Well, I watch a dog use the bathroom, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
that's what made you think. Oh, I get it.
Well,
Serendipitous.
it certainly wasn't, except that is totally not, of course, the right answer.
And did it have did it have 4 eyelids?
So here's the you're gonna kick yourselves because the big clue is in the question. Okay, I probably should have made it a little clearer. Anti-war demonstrators march on Wall Street where they were met by 400 anti-communist construction workers.
Oh.
Okay.
Construction workers' revenge? I don't know.
It was called
the construction workers, the hard hat something.
Riots, the hard hat riots.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
I should have made that a little clearer. I probably could have added a little something to make it a little.
No, that's yeah. All right, I see that.
But
and
anyway,
as I said, they were invited to the Nixon White House, and he said,
everything you said was true. Yeah.
Congratulations on beating up those long-haired people who don't take a bath.
Yeah. That's me. Well, no, it was a shorter person. But anywho, David Sheward, you have essentially won the game. We don't even have to do the tiebreaker. We're going to do the tiebreaker anyway, since I spent time making the darn question. So, congratulations, first of all, to David Sheward for winning the game. But here we go. Adam, you don't have a piece of paper and a pen, I assume, handy, do you? And Richie, do you?
I do, if you give me a moment.
I will give you a moment. I'll remind everybody, it's almost 11:30, and we're doing the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream. We're calling this one ABBA. It's our 797th episode of the program. So, yeah, I've been spending most of it just talking about my dad, but we're also having friends in the neighborhood, including Richie Goldklang and my cousin Adam Glass.
And I had my copy of the book right here. I did not look at it.
I see that, yeah.
But I had my copy of the book here because, I'm teaching it.
Right, yeah. But it's not even opened.
Yeah.
Is that still in the shrink wrap?
No, it's just...
Oh, it's just a really good-looking copy. Yeah, very nice.
Because if you give it to schools, you got to have it like a hardback like this. The paperback is going to disintegrate after a couple of uses.
Did he write? I know he followed it up with day. Did he end up doing like afternoon?
I don't know.
Brunch.
I don't think so.
It's like near midnight. It just kept churning them out. Anywho, are you all ready? What will happen with this final question? We do it a little bit.
Tea.
Yeah. Afternoon tea, Majdanek, right? So here's the deal. We've got one last question, just for fun. Well, they're all really just for fun. But instead of my asking one of you individually, you're all 3 going to answer, but not by saying it out loud, by writing it down and then holding the piece of paper up to the camera when I count down from 3. This way, nobody gets it first, as it were. We all see who gets the question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
The year is 1920. Born today in the Bronx, this graphic artist began his career designing movie posters and later won an Oscar for his short film Why Man Creates. But he's best known for his title sequences for films by Otto Preminger and Alfred Hitchcock. Name him.
Okay.
Okay. I see some thinking on Adam's part, maybe a blank look on Richie's part, and David going, yeah, I got this. I'll read it again. Born today, May 8th, 1920, in the Bronx, this graphic artist began his career designing movie posters and later won an Oscar for his short film, Why Man Creates. But he's best known for his title sequences for films by Otto Preminger and Alfred Hitchcock. Name him. I'll give you another moment, and then I'll ask you to write something down. Game is not easy. If I were asked, I'd probably get like 4 points out of all of this if someone were just putting me on a thing. So, all right, put something down, Adam. And Richie, are you almost ready? Are you ready? Cool. All righty.
This is not the right person, but I'm putting down a name, so I have a name.
So you have a name. That's cool.
So I have a name, and the problem is I know who it is, and I can't think of the name.
That happens too. So here's the deal. And by the way, I'm hosting this program, and it's called Dave's Gone By. So it was put your paper down. I do a 3, 2, 1, Adam. You have to wait. You have to wait for the big reveal. So, born today, graphic artist, started designing movie posters, won an Oscar for Why Man Creates, but then really made his name doing title sequences for Otto Preminger and Alfred Hitchcock. Name him. 3, 2, 1. Hold it up to that camera. And I see good guess from Adam and pull back. Oh my gosh. I don't know who that is, Richie. David Sheward, you get the points.
Mad Magazine, Will Elder.
Who is Will Elder?
Mad Magazine artist.
No. David Sheward got it right. It is actually Soul Bass. So, and Rich, you should have gotten that because you can play the bass. Okay.
Don't want too many fishy notes.
Oh.
Just for the halibut.
Yeah.
Did he work for Scale?
Oh. If you paid him a fin.
My operation, Mr. Peabody.
I know, my humor's floundering here. But here's the deal. This has been...
Just chum in the waters.
Well, now I'm hooked. But
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
Send me back to the kitchen so I can make a Krabby Patty.
Oh, Lordy. Let's see. No, I can't think of a salmon joke. I'm sorry. So here's the deal. David Sheward, as we said, has won the game. The tiebreaker doesn't really count at that point. So he really got 12 points, but he got 10 points with Richie Goldklang with a very respectable 4, and my cousin Adam with somewhat respectable 2. But you all did really, really well. This is a tough game. Congratulations. Thank you for playing the game. So let me, first of all, I want to talk to you a little bit more, Adam, but I want to say a very kind thank you to, first of all, Richie Goldklang, for talking with us on the Dave's Gone By show today and telling us your story and playing the game. Really good sport to do that because people are like, oh, I'll be interviewed, but I'm not playing the game.
So much carping.
Oh, who said that?
Jill Schweitzer.
Well, thank you, Jill. Yes, she said. Yeah.
Too much.
Is that another cousin?
No. Now she's forcing me to come up with another pun.
Jill is a very long time friend of mine, and
oh, there you go. Well, Richie, I know you can tune a guitar, but can you tune a fish?
I collect bad puns, and that's
mercury
right on.
Poisoning here.
I know. I'm just going down the wrong pike now. So here's the deal. Thank you, Richie Goldklang. It's so good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's
I wish
Well, thank you for having me.
wish you no more dental work ever. I mean, do you have to go back and do anything, or are you done? Let's see those teeth.
They switch. No,
Look at them. They're beautiful. They're absolutely marvelous.
Tempered zirconia in September.
Yeah.
I'm serious. These are forgot the name. These are temporary till the zirconia is made, which lasts forever. Like I'm going to last forever, but you know.
Well, they'll last your forever. For anybody else, it'd be like 20 years. But
Yeah, 20,
no, I'm just
20
saying,
years.
that's the way it is. You know how I got these choppers in. This is, you know, a lot of these are fake and frontal, etc. And when he gave them to me, it's like, well, yeah, they'll last, you know, 15, 20 years. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm due. I'm going to be on air one morning a year or two or three from now, and I'm gonna be like, hello, everybody. You know, half of my mouth falling out. So you got them done. You're good to go. Good luck with the hemorrhoids. Good luck with the dysentery. Good luck with the gastroenteritis.
Gastroenteritis.
Not the ulcer.
Not the ulcer. No, not certainly the ulcer.
No.
Let me thank also David Sheward for every week coming with us, playing the game, almost winning the game almost every week. Read him in culturalweekly.com, theaterlife.com, and his blog, The David Desk. Did you write about anything this particular week?
Well, I just put out another, I'm doing a series of blogs on the Carol Burnett Show because it's scattered all over the internet, and the reruns that you see are chopped up segments of the show. So there are pieces of it missing. So I'm trying to piece together what the show was. So
Kenny Sams.
I know who he is. I know that he wrote for the show, and he had a play off Broadway a while ago, and he wrote for all kinds of comedy shows.
Do you know him, Richie? I mean, you bring that up.
Yeah, a long time ago. It's a joke. It has to do with summer camp for like 8 years.
Oh.
Or Somser Camp.
Yeah, I think he
well.
he wrote for Broadway. He's a very prominent comedy writer.
Oh, I did that. Okay, cool. And did you write any reviews?
Not well. I haven't. I'm when things begin. I haven't gotten any reviews. Like I did do my Oscar predictions just before the Oscars. There's not too much. There are some Zoom things. I'll have to see if I can review them. But we are expected to get live performances back in September. We'll see what happens.
Public performances. That is true. Yeah.
We know what's ironic is that the very last show I saw before the close down was this musical called Six, which was a rock musical about the six wives of Henry VIII, and it was supposed to open the night that everything closed down.
Right.
So now that show could be the first new show to start performances again in October. So they'll probably ask us to come back to it since it's been a year and a half. So that will be
ironic. That actually sounds pretty deliberate. That sounds kind of like, let's do this. It's a nice closure sort of a thing.
That will be the first new show to come back.
Cool. Well, I hope you will come back, David Sheward, next week, and maybe Leslie will be with us to play the Today Yesterday trivia game. Love to see you, and give somebody else a chance to win. Come on. And Richie, thank you so much. I'm going to remove both of you so I can talk a little bit more with my cousin Adam about my dad. So thanks for joining us on Dave's Gone By.
Good night.
Thank you for having me.
You betcha.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
And farewell to you, Dave.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
So, hello, cousin. Did you have fun being creamed and humiliated by by our ringer, by the guy
Well, I walked in with very low expectations. I succeeded there.
Yeah.
And but fairness to me, I knew 2 answers to the questions, and that was it. But
yeah. And it's also the luck of the draw. The reason I do the dice is
that's fine,
because you never know who's going to get what question at the beginning of the show. So it wouldn't seem fair if suddenly like David Sheward got a theater question and it was like, well, yeah, I'll give that to him. It's like luck of the draw. But
of course, yes.
So let's talk. Let's just you were telling some. Do you have other memories or thoughts about dear old dad? My dear old dad.
Let's see. When he greeted you, he always called you. Every time I saw him, "How are you, Bubby?"
Really?
It was. I always remembered it, which is why I'd written about it the other day. It was I could still hear him saying it, and it just was one of those. It's kind of like kind of like your grandmother. My great aunt would always say, "You rotten kid." It was that thing you always expected to hear.
Yeah, what was it?
And
Yeah, yeah.
that and the little tap on the side of the cheek, and always good to see you, and a wonderful handshake and a hug and so on. Let's see. It's funny. Went to your house and others were playing around the pool table. I never once saw him play pool.
Oh, yeah. He did when we first got the. I'm going to teach me how to play. Yeah. No, he used to. He did, but the thing was, he didn't really. He wanted to be upstairs, with the grown-ups and
Yes.
talking, hollering about politics or whatever. So he wanted to let the young generation down there to play. So I guess he wouldn't really come down and play. So I
Now,
get that. Yeah.
am I remembering? Am I misremembering because we had a few different relatives who did this?
My name is
Did
not.
he did he did he did he smoke pipes at one point?
He sure did.
He did, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
he had a pipe collection.
that's
And
what I thought. All right.
yep. It's funny. I didn't mind. I hated mom's cigarettes because mom smoked for years and years and years.
Right.
Awful, and it yellowed the walls. And I would be in the car with her driving, and even in the bleakest, coldest winter, I would have to crack my window open to breathe because the car was just filled with smoke, and literally the inside of the windows of the car were yellow. And so you could run your fingernail down to get through it. It was like just this cake of yellow from her smoking in the car. But Dad, I didn't really mind the pipe that much.
The pipe always had it had a softer smell to it, the tobacco.
Yeah.
But because I remembered that because I thought I remembered that he had a collection of pipes, as did Uncle Monty, and that was what I remembered about the two of them. And the one time I remembered being at Monty and Betty's home, I seem to remember there being one of those rounds that had the pipes in it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
We had one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I remember that.
he smoked cigars once in a very blue moon. I maybe 2 or 3 times I saw him smoke a cigar. I never saw him smoke a ciggy. And he hadn't smoked a pipe in probably 30, maybe 40 years at this point.
Right.
So,
Well,
but
yeah.
when I was young, he did.
And I remember that because I remember something about him quitting.
Mm.
And it, again, that small thing, because I remember seeing the pipes and I think I asked him about it. And I kind of caught it at the tail end of the fact, because I never saw him smoke one.
Right.
I just saw them being present in your home. Yeah. And I asked, and it was I used to, and he was quitting. He had quit smoking them.
And good for him.
That was
It did so much good for his health.
Now.
He might have just stayed smoking. Wouldn't make a damn difference,
Well,
When was the last time you saw him? Saw him?
I was trying to remember that, and sad to say that it was probably at Bonnie's.
My aunt.
And probably not for a happy occasion, because either it was for Lester,
Bonnie's late husband. Yeah,
or no, it was probably for Lester, or it was for Karen, cousin Karen.
Well, that's going back. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I had to. It would probably be Lester's, and it's possible that I'm wrong, but it's the last one that I remember clearly.
Sure. Yeah.
And unfortunately, but.
And do you remember? Dad? I assume at that point was no longer walking, or was? Or
no, he was. I know he wasn't walking, because I remember at the cemetery we were gonna bring him over, and because he couldn't walk, he was in the wheelchair.
All right. Yeah.
And I think I'm remembering that correctly, and he stayed back. So I think those times were the last that I got to see your father.
Right. Okay. Oh, well.
So
I mean, you didn't physically see him yesterday. You saw
yeah
the box. So, what was your favorite part of the funeral?
Oof. There's nothing to be a favorite about. Um, I love seeing family. I loathe seeing them in that setting, but I'm grateful for everybody's presence. So sometimes you have to take what you can get.
Hmm.
We end up getting together for, weddings, bar mitzvahs, funerals at this point, and
Well,
because
it's
the
what
family
Jews always
gatherings that
say.
we,
Next
yeah,
time on a happy occasion, why we only do this when
yeah,
dot dot.
yeah,
In a pandemic, you only do it when. But yeah,
yeah. So it's the, I thought about it, and unfortunately, the last time I really got to see Stephanie and Adam and Josh
right.
was all that time ago as well. I missed a decade with all of them, and plus, and I'm like,
And it's
I
not like
can't
you're living
fathom that.
in London. I mean, you're friggin' another part of New York, or for a while you were in another state.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
I was in
Yeah.
Connecticut, yeah. But even so, it's just the how did life get so busy and so crazy and so involved that I missed a decade plus. And I just
I
I
will
try not to think about that too much.
I was so happy to have you out of our lives, but now that you're back, well,
I I
let's fun you. Yeah.
I am my own pandemic. Yes, I am.
Yes, you basically are.
I am.
You're COVID glass. You are. You are. And as you were telling me yesterday, I just our little mutual history. I mean, I
Yes,
corrupted you. You corrupted me. You turned me on to a guest who I had on the show years ago named
John Dalby.
as a cabaret guy, as Doctor Dirty, who just makes
Hmm.
these parody disgusting, horrible songs, parodies of popular tunes that are filthy, and which I still do to this day. And you shared that with me. I turned you on to Doctor Demento and Python
Yes.
and whatever else, whatever other.
Larry.
Wildman,
Larry.
you mean my name is Larry Wildman Fisher?
Yes.
Yeah, Larry.
Yes. Larry Fisher.
Yes, yes. I corrupted this young man. He's about 7 years younger than I am. So I corrupted this young feller who looks but what? You're
4
53?
years.
Oh,
53.
Jesus, man, you still look about 40, barely. That's just not.
From your lips to God's ears. So
No, no. Usually we say that all from you, but no, it's true. You could pass for like 39, you son of a bitch. Well, look at his hair. Look at his hair.
Ask him if it's real. You don't know.
Is that? Do you have plugs? Is that like a hair, whatever, carpet for men? No, that's real. That's the real deal down there.
You could get a weave, honey.
Okay. So, I know I don't want to ask too much about your personal life because it's been sort of upheavally in the past year or two or three. But what do you want to say about where you are at these days that we can share?
I live in White Plains. I work in the 5 boroughs. What's there to know?
What's there to know? Yeah, I'm so tempted because you told that. Do you want to tell that story again about using the subway a couple of months later? Hell of a freaking story.
It was speaking about the unfortunate levels of distress that have overtaken New York City. And it's never a place to go blindly and lightly and not pay attention. But in this last year plus of the pandemic, unfortunately, it has sent more people over the edge than usual. And because you have fewer people who are going about their relatively normal day-to-day lives, these other people who are suffering and troubled appear to be there in greater numbers, certainly relative to the rest of the population. So I am traveling on the F train one morning, and I get one stop, and a person gets on with part of a shovel, the handle part with no shovel attached, and they don't sit down and they don't speak, but they pace, kind of bouncing back and forth between each foot, and they look very angry. And they are directly across from me, and I am thinking to myself, this person wants just to turn me into a shish kebab. But to move, yeah, thank you. But to move didn't seem prudent, so I sat there and just kind of went, hopefully he'll ignore me. And we go one stop, he goes to get off, but before he does, he attacks the subway car. There are these advertisements that sit up along the top of the subway cars that are encased in plastic. And he stabs at it with all of his might. He just throws his entire body at it, and it doesn't break. And he gets angry about that and then steps off the car. So I assume, okay, we're good. He made his mark. We're done. The car goes to close, and he sticks the handle inside of the door. And so the door opens again. Wait 30 seconds. He does it a second time.
So
A young lady.
Wait, I don't understand this. He didn't, when the doors opened, he didn't just come back in. He just stood.
No.
Yeah.
He went outside the car, and he's threatening and posturing on the platform.
Right.
There's nobody there, of course, to bother. So when the doors go to close, he sticks the handle inside the door so that, of course, the sensor says there's something blocking, and it goes to open again. Second time around, someone in our car says something, the conductor, of course, over the EPA, hey, come on, let the doors close. Third time's a charm. This guy does it, and he's threatening. I stand up because I don't have that patience anymore, and I'm closer to the end than the beginning. So I just get up and ask him to stop nicely. I try to be kind about it, and then he starts threatening me with the poking and whatevering from his distance. And then I
poking, by the way, Adam. I heard that. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Again with the pool table. Stop.
Yeah.
So and I lost my temper. Nothing to be proud of, and I got very loud and threatening and imposing, and he stepped back several feet, far enough for the doors to finally close. At which point I apologized to the rest of the people in the train car for being loud and saying unkind things, and I sat back down. And then as the car went to pull away, he actually charged the subway car and attacked the window behind my head. And he hit it with
yeah.
What? Yeah, the window did hold. Yes,
Yeah.
it did. But it was interesting that everybody heard and saw this guy charging it. It was like Don Quixote at a windmill. Bam. He didn't do much better. But there you go.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like the conductor, when he sees a guy with a broken shovel, waving it around, he says, "Please step away." Not, I'm calling the police, but can you just not?
Thank you. It's like there are police officers around, and if they'd gone up the steps, there would have been somebody there. And there, of course, they have the video cameras. And I have to imagine that the conductor, as they kind of came by, because there is a curve on the track, they might not have been able to see what was happening because they're in the middle of the car. I'm on the end.
They'd be putting a leg in or something. They don't really necessarily know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but as they passed, there's no way that they could really have missed the guy with the half a shovel and So I have to imagine that somebody at some point turned around and went, maybe we should let somebody know that this person's,
Yeah, you hope.
So,
yeah.
Well, hope springs
And
eternal.
nobody stood up with you. Nobody applauded.
Nothing. Nothing. I was in a train car. There were probably 8 or 9 people in there, and not one other person opted to get involved.
A black woman on the train, and he was kind of near her, but I guess he saw she.
Well, he got off the middle of the car, and then she said something toward the end of the car. He walked toward her as if to interact, but this person never spoke, never uttered a word. They just gestured and threatened with an object. But then they decided to come back toward my door for some reason, because that door wasn't good enough, and and continue to try to escalate. And there it is.
New York, it's a hell of a town.
Yeah. So.
But you're brave, man, because you were telling me yesterday. It was like you kept your cool. And you're like, please, sir, we just want to get home, please, sir. And then
it was like
180. You just go.
Yeah. It was because it's like, look, we're all suffering. Everybody's having a bad day. We're all just trying to get to work. There's nobody here who's rich. Come on.
Yeah, we're riding the subway. Yeah,
but it's not exactly like
turned. It was the interesting thing of like, I will kill you. If you get near me with that thing, I'll take it from you and I will kill you.
Well, because you hit that point of anger, frustration, rage, anything and everything you can imagine, and sensibility, logic, reason really doesn't stay. It's someone is actually threatening me, and the problem is they're making sure that they can continue to threaten me because I can't get off the train because they're standing there. I can't go to another door
Yeah,
because
well,
they're following.
Yeah.
Because well, there are three
Well, they're
doors
there.
on
They'll
each.
just go-
So
yeah.
if I'd gone to another door, he was following because he came
Right.
back to where I was. He
Wow.
didn't stay at the other door. So, and he didn't go to another train car, and there are 10 train cars to choose from. So he had taken a target. So it was all right, I can't get off this car and go to another car. He's following me. He's trailing me back and forth on the car. I can't, he won't let the doors close. So he's not leaving me with a lot of options here, and nobody else is stepping up to do anything.
Maybe he's just a busker. Maybe, he has an instrument that he can play. So it's like, for like a minute, I'm going to make threatening motions. Could you please, I'm trying, if you have 50 cents, if you have $1.
I thought afterward, I really thought afterward, and it occurred to me that perhaps the one thing I didn't do was to ask him, and silly me, I didn't ask him if he was okay. I never once asked him if he was okay.
Because we don't care.
Do you need?
We want
well, no. I wanted him to stop being violent. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. But I never, and this is what I thought about afterward. What could I have done better? Because obviously resorting to violence was, not the greatest choice, but I didn't feel a lot of options. But I never once asked, do you need something? I didn't ask, are you okay? I didn't ask, and it's not about being a bleeding heart or anything else, but it was what else could I have done to try and diffuse it? Because it wasn't even like I had real good cell phone service to try and call the police and say, yeah, someone want to get down here to, I have no idea what station I'm at right now because the markings are that good. But I'm on the F train, so if you could find me, that'd be terrific. I got a guy here threatening me with part of a shovel handle. Yeah,
Yeah, and I love the serendipity of this program because for absolutely and completely randomly this week has been about shovels. I started the show with my boss at work killing a spider with a snow shovel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Monday morning. First thing is she screams and she's bashing a spider with a snow shovel in the hallway. Then, and you tell me yesterday, out of the blue, just stories you're talking about how New York has gone downhill and how de Blasio is like, everybody's just saying de Blasio is like the worst thing ever. And just New York is horrible. And this is an example. This is another day in New York during the pandemic. And there's a guy with a shovel handle. And of course, yesterday we hear that sound, that first fucking sound of, the shovel in the dirt.
In the dirt. And then that sound. Yep.
And then the first one that hits the box, man.
That hollow echoing sound is supposed to stay with you. It is as much the intention of that sound as when you go to temple and you listen to the chants that are classical, and you hear in those not just the people who are there, but the history of people who came before us, the sound of that suffering and struggling in shtetls, and the sound of people who are wandering. It is those sounds that are supposed to echo through time and things that we do not forget, and they stay with us. They're supposed to have a meaning, and they're supposed to bring meaning and give us a sense of time and importance of each moment. And
no, but I remember.
So,
yeah. But by the way, speaking of the sound of suffering, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave, my wonderful wife Joyce, and my cousin Adam. But I remember from my grandmother Lucy's funeral, Bonnie's mom, and my dad's mom, and Bonnie was like, it's that she mentioned it. That was the first time I heard
sound.
That it was that and hitting, and it just that's what destroyed her. That's when she lost it. At that funeral, whenever it was, 10 years ago or so, whenever it was, maybe years ago.
You mean Lucy's?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lucy's was in the late 90s, I think. Yeah, late 90s.
Whoa. Okay.
Late 90s. Lucy's was in the mid to late 90s. Lester's was, of course, like was it 12 years ago? Or
so maybe it was her husband.
It was Lester. Yeah, it was maybe Lester's.
She may have said it then. Maybe that's when she.
But yeah, that sound is it's very, very sobering, and that's one of those moments where you have that moment in time that seems to last forever. You can stay in that time, that moment, and it echoes through your body and through your bones, and kind of touches through your soul when it's that close to you.
Kind of like light jazz. But no, I'm kidding. don't even know what that means. We've been talking with Adam Glass, my cousin.
So
I want to wish you. I'm terrible, I know. It is so good to talk with you. I want you to come back at some point and play the Today Yesterday game again. Would you do that? I know it was such a great experience for you today.
You know what? The next time I'm gonna bring back my other laptop just so I can cheat so I get at least one question right because I was like,
really on the side.
I got this one.
Well, no. Hey, who knows? Maybe next time when you play the game, we'll be in person again. We can actually get on screen together like human beings instead of like
be wonderful.
digital entities separated by 50 miles or something. But until then. Actually, I want to get you on the show playing the game again quicker than that. But it is
Of
so
course,
good
happy to.
be part of the family and to come to the funeral and more importantly than the funeral, to come to my show and to do this today and share your stories and your stuff. Love you, bro. What do you call cuz? Love you, cuz. Give my best to let's see the remaining people. Well, you have a daughter Piper, right?
Yes.
And you have your parents are still.
They are. My parents, my brothers, and so on. Yeah, everybody's still around.
And Meryl?
Yes.
Billy and Meryl, your parents, they're alive and reasonably well. And so, and Iris and Judy are Meryl's sisters, right?
Correct. The older and the younger. Yep.
They're alive too.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Iris is 92. God bless her.
No, Iris is 92. Wow.
91 or 92, yeah.
Well, Mazel. So happy occasions, as I think my mom said, we've had 3 already like this. Yeah. I forget what it was. So 3 terrible things over the last week. We're done. We've done the 3 of misery, one hopes. And so we're spared a little while. That would be nice. So we will now be spared of Adam Glass because we're going to let him go and we're going to finish up the rest of this episode of Dave's Gone By. Thanks so much for coming, man.
Always a pleasure. You take good care.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Adam Glass, ladies and gentlemen, on the Dave's Gone By Facebook, your podcast, your programming on the stream. He needed just a place to be quiet. It actually worked out very well.
Yeah.
When we were interviewing the guy from In Excess.
The Australian guy, yeah, he was in his car with the hat, yeah.
Yeah, the cars are good.
No, but he said he lived in an area that was so remote they didn't have Wi-Fi. He had to drive into town for Wi-Fi.
Well, it worked. It worked out great. So thank you, Adam, and thank you so much to David Sheward for playing the game.